Hello, hello, and welcome to Wicked Journals. I'm Eileen, and today we're going to take a look at these clusters. So I made an album that you may have seen the flip through on, and I had a bunch of purple scraps left, and so when I make journals, I have discovered that I like to make themed journals, and so I thought, well, I'm just going to make some purple clusters out of some scraps and some other stuff. So these are three I already made, and let's make some together. So I have some paper scraps over here. I have some fabric scraps. I have some buttons. I have some silk flowers here. And I just have some punched out shapes, hearts and stamps and just some random shapes that we might use. And then I've been using these little guys as the base, and they're just die cuts. I have a binder with a bunch of already cut out die cuts. And these ones I used it as the base. But on this one I used it right here. It's a butterfly. And so but as I was playing around with these, I thought, these are cool shapes, and so they don't have to hide in the background. So I put it here, but you can't even really tell it's a butterfly. So I do like to use them as the base. And so I have a binder with, I just cut these out with my Cricut from cardstock, and I just have them in there. And then when I use them, I use ink to shade them. And so these ones that I used I just used these little distress inks. I got these from Joann's when they were going out of business, and like I said, I like to do themed journals, and so I like to use colored inks, not just the the brownish that everybody uses, which I do have and I do use. So these are just shaded lilac, milled lavender, and wilted violet from a purple collection, obviously, that I picked up. And I just used my little guys. This one met my dog, or my husband's dog, and so that one's a little ragged. But I have a bunch of the blank foamies, and I use those and try to save them with, I put a little Velcro dot here, and then I put the one that goes with it on there so that I know what goes where. All right, enough blabbering. Let's get started. So I think I'm going to use this one for my base this time. And I have my brad setter tool that has a pokey and then the setting head on the other end. And I just get going. And I'm going to set it with this brad. Now, the other brad, these brads that have the jewel heads, those have much thinner brad legs than these, and so these do not go through my buttons, the buttons that I picked out anyway. So I may or may not be using a button, we'll see. But I like to build this up on a pokey tool. If I can get it through the hole, I got the shakes, I just woke up. So that it keeps it all in line, I can see what it's going to look like, and then it easily just slides onto the brad. So I like to start with some paper scraps, and this one I think would look good with this base that I've chosen. And so I am just going to tear the edges on this real quick, and then I am going to pop a little ink on there so that we don't have the stark white. I'm just quickly rubbing this on here. There we go. And that's the shaded lilac on that one. And then I'll just poke it on there. And we're just going to layer these on top of each other here. How about some script? And we'll just use this one. Ink those edges again real quick. Sometimes, I don't know if you've noticed with these distress inks, You put them on and they look kind of dark, and then they settle a little bit. Like this one is the shaded lilac, and you'll see that when you put it on, it looks kind of bright, and then it will settle into a more subtle color. But it also depends on what you're putting it on as well. All right, so we're just going to throw those on there. And then I like to pop some fabric on. I'm going to pink the edges here, like that. And you don't really need to poke a hole first. You could, you know, obviously this is a pokey tool. So, and I set that one offset because I want it to stick out on the edge, and it wasn't really long enough. So let's just put this guy on here. Out the other end, and you'll notice as you work, stuff kind of doesn't go where you want, but when you're getting ready to put it on the brad, and after you put it on the brad, you can obviously rearrange it a bit to how you want it to look. So I'm gonna angle these edges, and we're gonna throw this guy on there. I want that purple flower to stick out, so put it on there like that. And then I usually do a flower, and so on these guys you can see that I've just got the flower with the button. This one, same thing, but I put a little punched out butterfly on the edge there. And then on this one, on top of the flower, I put a little punched out heart. So I kind of vary how the top of it looks, but I do like to do the dark flower on the bottom, and then one of these kind of ombre dipped flowers, and then one of the small ones there. And let's see, what do we want to put on the top? I feel like just putting the brad is a little boring. How about we could just do a little heart on top of it. It's going to cover that little flower though. Let's just go with the brad. Don't overthink it. All right, so I'm just going to pinch it right here next to the hole where the pokey tool's coming out. I'm just pinching that, pulling that out, and then you can, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see right through that hole. And so I'm just going to push this brad through. If it'll go through, easier said than done. There we go. And then I'm going to arrange this a little bit so that it's, see, and you can't even see that base that's under there. So it really, I just like it because when I go to use it, that's where I can apply my adhesive, and I know that it's getting a good solid adhesion with whatever I put it on. So I think that's pretty cute. Let me stagger that flower a little bit. There we go. And my brad tool, there we go. This little guy, if you have one, it has this setting tool on the end, and you just slide it in there and kind of set those legs and stab yourself apparently, and then you know, just mush them down with the end. This is really super sharp. I've stabbed myself with it like 3 times making these clusters, so be careful. But yeah, there you go. And there's our little cluster. So super easy, super cute to use your scraps, and especially if you're doing like a themed journal. This paper that I used has butterflies and lavender on it, and so if you're doing something that's themed with like lavender, that would be cute, or just purple. So there you go. Let me know what you think.